got some topics.
Yeah.
The first one is gonna be, and this is not me interviewing you, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's just a general sort of question for both of us, I guess. So moments that made you want to perform music. So maybe a certain gig,
Yeah.
or like maybe a specific moment.
I think my first
Like sort of what?
my first proper, not metal,
Yeah.
because I mean everyone watches live music if you go to like a wedding, like when you're 9.
Yeah.
But like my first ever concert that I wanted to go to.
You can talk about both. Like
Yeah.
even go from like beginning to like.
But bun wedding bands.
Yeah. But it can even be like it's fine.
My first ever concert was
Yeah.
me and I met Ben went to see Tyler the Creator. This
Yeah,
was
yeah.
6 years
What year
ago?
was this? 6 years.
Yeah, 2014. So I was a late bloomer for gigs.
Late bloomer.
Yeah.
Was that your first gig?
Yeah.
Really?
Tyler
the Creator was your first
first
gig?
actual gig that like
That is insane.
I wanted to I think I went to like local ones in college and stuff. Maybe.
What venue was this though?
This was Roundhouse.
Mate, your first gig in
So it was
Roundhouse as
yeah,
well.
but it was like
it's not
my
like it
first
was
proper
like
one. I'd seen like local bands and stuff.
Yeah. What's the
but
cap
I
for
don't remember
Roundhouse?
them. Oh, I don't know.
It's obviously sold out show.
500
Was it sold out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
500,000 or something. I don't know. It's quite a big.
500,000.
No, 500.
Oh, but it's like 4. I was like, what?
No, to 1,000.
Yeah.
But that was like, I don't know. I didn't really know what sort of music I liked up until that point.
Yeah.
Like, I think you reach like a point where you start like discovering what music you like rather than just what like your dad listens to and like your mate that your psycho mate like. I was never into metal.
What did your dad listen to though?
Like one of my favorite bands is Coldplay because we always used to listen to like X and Y and Rush of Blood to the Head on the way to like football training. But my dad loves like the Jam and the Who. And like all like then like Genesis, like he's a bit like
my dad's obsessed with Genesis.
So
that's
like,
what I listened to when I grew up.
You just get fed that, and I think you reach an age where you start like discovering your own like music taste. Like someone might show you something, you'd be like, "Oh, that's actually quite cool." But it took a while for me to finally like find out what I liked, and it was only like 7-8 years ago that I figured out what kind of music I properly liked.
Yeah. I think we may have spoken about this before, but like. What was your first like heavy, like your first heavy song? I think to say like.
There's so the first time I ever heard like screaming, like properly was one of my favourite albums ever is From Under a Court Tree by Fall Out Boy. Yeah. And there's a song because it's like punk.
Of course.
Punk, And there's a song in there where they start like screaming, like this vocal line. They progress it into screaming. I just hated that song. Yeah. And it like I think at just one point in my life I was like, why do I like that? Yeah. Like there was something about it. I just It kept wanting me to go back.
It like grew on you.
Yeah. So I wanted to find like similar things. So
do you not think that everyone's initial reaction is like, what is that?
It's
like,
horrible.
What is that? Like,
it's
everyone
horrible.
is just like, it's grim,
but there's something about it. It's just like
the noise is like, what is this?
It's so different.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what stood out on that album.
I think it sits with some people, and then, like you said, you was kind of like, oh no, I didn't really like it. But then you was like, you kept sort of,
you keep coming back to it.
Keep coming back to it because it's always it's different. It's always
it's first year college,
that's made you like it. Sometimes it clicks with you with some people, and it just doesn't with others. I guess like some people like
first year of college.
To me, it's just
that's when I started playing guitar. After I left secondary school. Yeah. Because that was like my thing. Like I wanted to finish exams and start learning guitar again. Because I learned it like year 8 for like a month or 2. Yeah. But like at that time, I listened to like Green Day and Fall Out Boy, and I listened to a lot more music. With guitar in it. Yeah. And that progressed like first year of college. I was like I started getting into metal, but it was so like I couldn't find metalcore. Yeah. Like I listened to August Burns Red, like Empire, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I've like the high screams. It was like ear piercing. And I was like, this is horrible. Yeah. So like first year of college, I listened to like Megadeth, like Trivium. Yeah. This band called Glassjaw.
Yeah, Glassjaw. Yeah.
What else? Like Metallica and like proper old school with singing.
I've literally never been into like sort of old school metal.
Yeah, I don't know how
crazy is that. Like
Megadeth band
doesn't suit me at all.
Like Rust in peace.
Like, I can appreciate it. Like, I definitely can appreciate it. Obviously, like, I'm always saying it, but it's something I've never really.
I just couldn't find.
Just couldn't.
Like, I liked it, but I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like really full on. Like,
I was like, this is sick.
This is like
and it
sick.
was. I came back to August Friends Red because I liked their name.
Yeah.
And
I can see that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, their name's cool, man. Like, it was something bringing
cool
me back, like it was with Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
And I listened to like Messengers. I used to go into the computer room at college, and I just used to listen to Messages, like from front to back, like, and just sit there and do work, and like I'd just be sat next to people.
It was like, at school it was just like getting ripped into all the time.
I don't care. I had like Behemoth t-shirts. I just did not care, man. I was a weird
You get to
kid.
a point, where you just don't.
I was like, I wanted to go as far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And like second year and third year, I was listening to like Lorna Shore, like just inaudible noise.
So how old was you when you really started getting into it again? You was like
2012, 13. So
what was this after school? Just college?
So, I was about 15, 16.
Yeah. So I think I first listened to my first sort of heavy song was "Crown the Empire." The Fallout. Have you listened to it? You not listened to it?
I know, obviously.
You know who they are, of course.
Crown the Empire. Right.
I don't know how I came across it. I was into like. When I was like 14, I was like massive into like Sleeping with Sirens and like that sort of like pierced about
like
that
Mayday
sort of
Parade
like, that vibe, sort of like early Bring Me the Horizon and stuff like that. But that was even then like wasn't too. That was too much for me then.
Yeah.
But then it just started to grow on me, and then one day, massive, like huge.
Wow.
I was
well, it's too much for them.
No, no, he's like love it, like more like their sort of acoustic sort of like vibe. That sort of I used to love that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think one day just a recommended video came up and it's Crown the Empire, and it just sort of really like I clicked on it and I was just like, oh, this is really different. Like first like comes in like, okay, yeah, this is alright.
Yeah. And
then the screams came in. I was just like, I've never seen anything like this at all.
It's weird.
And I think it was the whole theme of the music video as well, which really was just like, oh, this is a different world.
I think it was
a different world.
Metal's a genre I think that finds you.
Yeah.
That you don't find like.
But like I said at first, it was kind of like it was so like. Almost in a way, you have to sort of force yourself to get past it. It's such a weird thing. But you want to, that's it,
And you don't know why.
The more you get, sort of, the more I was listening to it, I was just, this is so good, and I almost wanted more. So then obviously, I was then obviously listening to Crown the Empire, I was going through more of their songs, and then it just leads to so many other bands. Yeah. And then that's when it just went downhill. Not downhill, but
downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Obviously August Friends Red, and it just went when I was like 15 into all that sort of stuff.
So what was your first concert then?
Motionless in White.
Motionless in White.
That was my first concert.
When was that? How old were you?
I think I was 15.
Matt's, yeah. So
14, 15 maybe. I can't remember proper specifically, but I remember I bought the tickets like as soon as they were announced.
They're dirt cheap.
I was like, this is going to be crazy, and this is like down in Portsmouth, the Wedgie Rooms.
Yeah.
It was like round the corner from my house. I was like, this is crazy.
And you had properly got into metal by then.
Yeah, and then I was like really starting to like flow into it. Like like find out the scene, if that makes sense. Like I started to then see all the bands like like Memphis My Fire, like that whole sort of like even like you call it the Warped Tour sort of American metalcore sort of scene.
Once you find one,
you just endless. Yeah. Especially on YouTube, like just you can go all day, and that's what I was doing. All day long. I remember at my weekends I was just sat and I was listening to music video, like just constant
live.
this video, that video, this video, because it was all this to me. It was just so interesting.
Yeah, live at Warped Tour.
And it just went, mate, it was just I could sit all day long and just do that. So no, mine was Motionless in White, and it was they had two support acts on, and this is the first time I've really sort of heard this genre live.
Yeah.
And it was just
because it's completely different. It's not like
maddest thing ever.
It's not like Tyler Creator. Like I mean. Tyler Creator's different live, but it's not like. Yeah.
But you can take any. You can listen to any music, and then when you see it live, it just switches. Something is completely different. I feel
like a lot of people that don't like metal,
even not even metal genres, you can go. Oh yeah, there's so many people where different. I almost feel like okay, I know you may not be into it, but I feel like if I take you to a show,
you'd understand
it may click that sort of, and you'll be like, oh, like this is actually like.
You get.
I kind of appreciate this a little bit more. Yeah. Definitely, that's where my sort of interest really then just went. Like as soon as I saw a band live,
it's like the ultimate hype music.
Yeah. Oh my, all day long.
like the ultimate hype. Like, you know, you've got people like hyping you up. Like, you know, you've seen like rap videos.
It wasn't
like, hey.
Yeah.
Like metal is like that on like times 1,000.
Yeah. But it wasn't even. I think it was just the whole, even the production. It was just the whole like live element. It was just like, I just love it so much. I want to go back to see like other bands and stuff. The waiting room was like the smell. I just love the smell. Like straight away. I don't know why it's such a weird thing. But yeah, like I remember just like their first song. It's just like, this is the maddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
like the first like breakdown. Like
it's something you feel like, more than hear.
This is crazy. Like
yeah, it's just
it was a different world. That's what all I can explain it was. It was when you were younger as well.
Yeah.
It was that. It was. I just felt like I was an alien, like completely.
Yeah, because my first metal gig, I went to the UK Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Because I got into August Band Road like massively by then. And like obviously, like you said with Warped Tour, you find like loads of other bands. Yeah. But like the first band we watched was The Word Alive when Luke Collin was there. So we
The
Word Alive.
Yeah,
before he left to do like Jason Richardson's album. Yeah. I didn't even know who Luke Collin was back then. Yeah. Obviously now
I didn't even realise he was in. I know who he is, but I didn't even realise that.
And I that was my first like experience seeing metal, like that Word Alive. Yeah. And like if you've heard their music, especially like Life Cycles, that album, it's not like you wouldn't listen to it and be like, oh, this is like super like it's not interesting. It's very like bog standard metalcore. Like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like,
of course,
like there's nothing memorable about it. But for me, like the first time, everything they did was like I'd never seen that before.
It always is, 100%.
Like they got everyone to like go down on their knees, like
the classic, like
spit it out. Yeah, but like I'd never seen that.
Of course, yeah.
So they do that.
If you haven't, it's so interesting.
They had like breakdowns, like the bass drops and stuff, and I was like, what is going on?
Crazy.
Because you don't hear that in the record, and you don't hear the crowd like and how they interact with the crowd and. There's so many different things.
World. It's a different. It just changes so much. So what's like one specific moment, even if it's live? Like you can even do this with like metal or like maybe like a moment like during a set or like where you were just like it just sort of clicked. You just thought, oh, I want to do that. Like
mine has to be Empire. Yeah. ABR. Yeah. When the first time I saw that live. Yeah. And they have that. Like crowd. Singing section, and then it goes straight into a solo. I don't know, man. And like, you just hear all the crowd. Like you just turn around and you see all these people singing the same thing. And then obviously the next bit is the guitarist standing up on the stage lifts and like shredding a solo. Yeah. And there's something so like I don't know, so sick about that. You feel like part of. Oh yeah, 100%. You part of something like all of you singing this. Yeah. Like even the band singing it and stuff. You feel like I don't know. You feel like. Together, it's not like an artist you're watching from like the heavens.
Definitely not. No.
You're just watching someone.
You like really like that connection.
You feel
is
like, you're like next to people singing their heart out and stuff. It's indescribable. But seeing that, I was like, oh man, I'd love to be able to get to that point where we're up on stage, people singing our stuff like that.
Did you like walk away from that gig and just think about that?
I want to do that.
Was you obsessed?
I want to do that. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't like a turning point because I kind of always wanted to do music just for like the records and stuff.
I always feel like you can talk to a lot of people that maybe into music but not really fully into it, like on a sort of aspect of like wanting to play live or be in a band and play live and write music and stuff. And like, they can maybe go to gigs and not think anything of it, if that makes sense. They can go to a gig, enjoy it, go home and shut off. I couldn't shut off. I was so obsessed with like I would go over and over. I'd even go home. And I'm talking like a day after, 2 days after, I would then go on YouTube and Google the gig that I was at and watch it. Yeah. I was just obsessed.
I still do that now.
Yeah, exactly, It never stops. It doesn't stop. Like
part of me really hates gigs. I hate watching bands play because I wish I was playing.
At the beginning it was amazing.
Yeah, but now
and then I can't. Now it's so hard to do.
No, I'm watching. I'm like, oh, man, I wish.
I like twitching my foot.
I wish that was us.
Yeah, it's so
like,
painful.
I wish that was me.
It is really painful.
Like I wish, like.
But like I enjoy going to shows and supporting and like. It's still got to be done, isn't it? Like, and that's that way. Like, you've got to do that. And
it's not even jealousy.
That,
no. We're not even looking at bands like, oh mate, you're lucky you have that because everyone works massively hard in the genre.
Of course, yeah.
But there's a part of you that just wishes you were at that point. That you had that many people coming out to your shows and singing your songs. Like it's just that it hurts because you don't have that, but it like fuels you.
Yeah.
You're like, I want that so badly, but you like struggle to just stand at a gig like, oh man, like I wish we had that.
I remember I went to go watch The Devil Wears Prada at the Wedgie Rooms, and it wasn't even a sold out show, and I can't remember. I think it's when it was with Napoleon.
Yeah. Napoleon
was supporting, and someone else, I can't remember, like Dead Hearts or something like that. I can't remember. This is like 2014 or something like that, 15, and I was literally just the whole time seeing Devil Wears Prada live was just starstruck, mate.
Yeah.
Like from like a vocal aspect of like watching Mike, like his stage presence, I've never seen nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I was just like glued, like I couldn't even, just completely mesmerised. Like it was such a weird thing.
I remember the first time
I've never like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, and it's not like you were saying like jealous, because I wasn't jealous. It was more just like I don't know what the word is, like so interested in seeing what, like, to be in that position. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's
I don't want to try
there.
to not.
It's not like you don't. It's not like we're not in a band at all.
Yeah, of course.
Play like music.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's there, but it's not like
of
fully
course.
there.
Yeah.
It's like you got a taste of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you can't have like a whole bite. And that's the annoying thing. It's like
definitely,
it's like blue balls.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just like
it's also there's something to. I also enjoy learning as well. Like I enjoy watching.
I want to do that.
I was very much going to learn.
Yeah, same.
To watch. It wasn't like to go and sort of. No, it was obviously enjoy because I enjoyed it, but I also liked going and observing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Definitely.
Me and Ryan, we went to like a local gig.
Yeah.
In Reading.
Yeah.
And literally the whole time we kept coming outside and we just talked about how can we be better than that?
Yeah.
Like what is the things that are holding that band back that we can capitalise on?
Yeah.
Because if they all sound, if like there's three or four bands on the set list on the list, and they all have like these problems. How can we capitalise on that and stand out in that sense?
Yeah.
So that's why we run direct. We run have Axe Effects. It's like we run off Reaper with like all backing tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like because we see that like that for me like the worst thing in the world is you see a band come out and the first thing they do is their drummer like hitting 4 count.
Yeah.
It's like a part of me just dies inside. Like especially if it's on like the closed hi-hat. It's just so anticlimactic in it. Yeah. But like especially when
I
you
think
see
it's
like,
a little thing.
Bands,
you always
like, walk out.
But
music.
you're very like you notice the little things.
Yeah.
Like, so many people wouldn't even pay attention to that. I mean, they really wouldn't. But you're you do pick up on those things.
There's so much hype to see in a band. You can't wait to see this band. They come out.
Yeah. But to some people that wouldn't even click. Like the fact that you notice that is crazy to me.
Because it's like, I think, like playing music live is as much a show as like theatre or like a film. And
like don't get me wrong, like your band can do whatever.
Yeah.
You can start however you want.
100%. But like for me at least,
yeah,
I want to be someone that's different. Like, when we the first times the first 2 gigs we played, we had like a JFK speech and like all this like orchestration and like sound effects and stuff like building up to this bit. And Ryan starts off with a fill. It's not just a 4 count. But it's like, there's a hype. Yeah. That you don't come out and you start your set straight away. Yeah, there's a build up to it that you come out and you're standing there. People are waiting for you to start. Yeah. Obviously, if you just stand there and do nothing, it's a bit boring. But like, if they have something to listen to, like it sucks you up in it.
It's definitely
the same way when you see like Motionless in White, Ultimates Red, and they have like all the house lights go off and then all their lights come on, but they're not out yet. No, and you hear all the crowd like, oh, it's happening, and they build into it. And that's the excitement.
That's an element of it. That's what makes it exciting, though.
You kill it if you just. Imagine if ABR just came on like.
That'd be so funny.
That's all like in that like if you put it in that aspect.
It comes into like the live aspect. Like.
Yeah, if you think like that, if you think like if ABR did that, like if you think that, why should we do that? We need to be. On that level in some facilitation,
of course.
Like we don't like if someone came on like if ABR came on like that and we were like that's awful. Imagine what people would think if we did that. Like because why would they think any different? Yeah. Like because we're not ABR. Because we're not of the same size. We're still like a metal band, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it's just those things. It's just the little things that you notice in other bands that you're like you want to capitalize on.
Yeah.
So if you're on like a list with 4 or 5 bands and they all start their set list like that, and then you come on with this massive intro.
Oh, you're going to notice straight away.
Yeah, before you've even played a note.
Understand that.
People will turn around from the bar. They'll be like, "Oh, this is like what's going to happen."
Yeah,
it's anticipation.
Yeah,
and you can't buy that. It's priceless. Because
I totally agree.
I think even if you sound like arse, like that first song, at least people will be interested enough to hear you sound like arse, like rather than just leave or something. Yeah. Like if you just come on with no, that's like, oh, we'll go toilet. Yeah, like you wouldn't go to the toilet. Like when there's a build up, you want to see what this band sounds like, innit? Yeah. Like, that's how I think, at least. It
definitely is different.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's just think like that.
Yeah,
it's just like
and if I was like at a bar or whatever and that happened, like you would at least know.
At least turn your head.
It's different.
You'd be like, "What's happening? Who's this?"
Yeah, even if they came on, they were like, "You're like, oh, actually, maybe not." But it's still then having that thought of like, "Well, that's different." Noticing that it's different.
Yeah,
it's like the whole reason.
There's a lot of pressure, I think, to sound like different. In metal, and it's very much like everyone just calls everything generic and like or very you sound like Meshuggah and stuff like. Yeah. These terms get thrown around, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on people to like. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like people aren't going to expect you to come out and sound like the Bohemian Rhapsody equivalent. Like every song be like, what? Yeah. You just have to find things that all bands do the same, like those count-ins, like even at a local level, or like how they talk to the audience, or like their lighting, or where they stand, or like. What their sets are like constructed like. Yeah, like if it's just like they have like water breaks or something. Yeah. Like it's all these little things that you're like, how can we target that?
It always is little things.
And like focus on that. So that we're not a band that's be like, well, we're going to take 5 minutes and definitely. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you have to focus on like we can't write music like Animals as Leaders, so we'll never be big. Yeah. You have to focus on like.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
This band. Doesn't use a click, so they're not tight. So if we use a click, like we'll be tight.
We'll be tight.
And then, at least you improved in that sense. Yeah. I think it's just a rival.
What's mentality. Your This is a little bit different. But what's your thoughts on like? I know a lot of people moan about like having like bands having backing tracks and like we use backing tracks. Like
I think it's just a new age thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah,
I think especially with the same with like sampled drums and like.
At the end of the day, I think it's anything anything that's gonna sort of make you, especially live. Yeah. Make it fuller. It's completely different if it's way over the top. Yeah. If that makes sense. If it's subtle things and things that you really can't do that adds to it, why not? I don't see why there's no rule book. Yeah. That's another thing that bothers me. Why so many people think there's a certain way to do things. Yeah. There's no rule book. Do whatever.
There's got to be just old people that are mad at backing tracks because pretty much every band that would be on like something like Warped Tour would use backing tracks in some sense. Yeah, like it's very rare that you see someone come on and not play exactly. Track. I mean, there are bands that do it because their music probably doesn't need it. Yeah. But like I think with metal, especially at this point, there's stuff that you can do to like a breakdown, like in the backing tracks that just change the sound of it. Like if it's just like quarter notes and then chugs, like every breakdown. Like your set's going to sound the same. But if you have one that's got like strings behind and like vocals and
why not?
Yeah, and like sound effects, like especially like I was saying about the walk on music, like when bands find things to walk on. Like imagine if you did that to no music, like it just wouldn't be the same.
Wouldn't be the same. No,
it's a production. It's a show.
It's a show. It's a performance.
You have to think of it like that. You're not playing live. You're performing.
That's it. And it's like anything to add to the performance. Yeah. Like I said, there's no rule book.
Yeah. I mean,
if people say, "Well, that band used backing tracks," like, okay, like,
that's like cheap or like not
different. It's like if the vocalist came on, the backing tracks were like, and he was like miming or something. Like that's completely different. Like,
imagine if metal vocalists actually mimed. That'd be wild, isn't it?
That'd be bizarre.
But I think people it just sounds so much better live, innit? Like you would easily tell it's not like rap where like the pronunciation's the same. Like you would tell in it from like vocals.
Oh yeah, of course, all day long.
But no, there's people that feel like the same about that, about like drum samples. Yeah. that it's got to the point now where there's like genuinely no point in tracking live drums. Like when you do an album, like you gain nothing. Yeah. Like you might get a more natural sound, but at the expense of going into a studio.
Like I think it's maybe in your head. I don't know. I'm not a drummer, so it's like maybe the fact of knowing that you obviously like done tracks yourself.
If you're like Matt Reiner,
there's an element to it, or like
Chris Turner or something where you can go in and track an album like perfectly, then by all means.
It's a time and money thing, especially if you're a small band as well.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary.
It's just unnecessary, yeah.
Like just save the cost and just do it. Like like there's very few people that are going to tell the difference, and if they honestly care that much, like that's their problem, innit? Really, it's just the way times are changing that you just gain nothing from doing it natural. Yeah, that's true. In fact, you lose out.
It's crazy to think that, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's the way it is,
and that would surprise a lot of people as well.
Like everyone knows you can't make money from music.
Yeah.
So if we made money, like if everyone made money, then they'd probably all do live drums, and they wouldn't have these samples because it's a cost-effective way, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got to think of it like that.
You bought a new car, didn't you? Because of
royalties.
You make so much money as a music bro.
$11, man.
You made $11.
We made $11 off the Odyssey.
It's crazy. Which is so crazy.
I mean, it's like it's weird because we thought we knew it was bad, but when we actually looked, we were like, "Oh Christ, that is really really bad."
Yeah. But we knew that.
We don't really do it for that. Yeah, you know that.
You're not gonna make. You're not in it to make. If you're in it to make money, then like.
No, you have to find your avenues to make that within.
Yeah, of course.
It's music. Business. Like, because we want to progress this band to like something just more than music, like
of course,
like a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'd love to get to that point where it's just like, oh, they do music as well, not just like, it's just a way of the seas. Like we do all these other different things.
Yeah,
that I'd love to get to that point. Well, I don't think bands do that. I think they just there's a lot of bands that are just stuck in the rut and they're just the same. They just release an album every 2 years, gig it, and sell merch, and they're like outside of that, they're not pushing themselves.
Yeah, like
you don't really hear much from them, or like they might go off social media for like 5 months and then they release a song, but you don't really get to know anyone. Like, there's no investment in the brand.
Yeah,
and I think that's the key. Yeah, is looking at.
And it all comes back to that.
Your band as a brand rather than just a moniker or like a name. Yeah. That you just attach like music to. Like, at least for us, like I've never thought we'll just go and write this song and that'll be it. Yeah. And we'll just tour and that's it. Yeah. We always thought like
it's always been like
how
more
can we get out of that?
Yeah.
And do other stuff as well.
Yeah.
And just like touring is just our like fun bits.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But like, how can we like make this brand massive?
Of course.
So like a global.
Because it's not just the music. I think especially for us.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
We enjoy so much other stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously music's like the heart of it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it always will be.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like we do so much stuff outside of music already.
Yeah.
And even our music's is like 90% music. The rest is all like narrative and ASMR stuff. And
yeah, agreed.
Like, even on the EP, like the artwork doesn't even have our name on it.
Yep.
Like it's to that extent. Like it's creating like a brand in it. It's like think of that as like a painting that's just under that thing. Like obviously that sounds arrogant, but it's like thinking of it as like that rather than just slapping your name on like an artwork.
It's easy to do, isn't it?
It's just like, what is that? Yeah. It's Away with the Seas. That's that lifestyle. Like they force a connection with it.
Yeah, agreed. Like the thought is always like. I like the sort of the thought is that I can't even get it out. What's the word? Oh, mate.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. What was I trying to say? Like, I'm trying to think of like the word for like meaning behind like your brand.
What do you mean?
The meaning behind your brand? Brain fart. Yeah, like doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. What, like having a band?
Yeah, having a band, but then but like doing it for the wrong reasons.
What do you mean? Like doing what reasons?
I don't know. Maybe whether they want to like gain some sort of power.
What?
Or some sort of
like a platform.
Yeah.
For like the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Like,
whether it is they think they're gonna make money.
Yeah.
Or they want to be above.
They'll be the
people.
one. they'll be the one that breaks the mold.
Yeah,
and
like having that power above people, or like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This.
Like they claim they're in it for the right reasons when they're clearly not in it for the right reasons.
There's been a lot of bands recently that
that's what I was trying to
just decimated by like these or like sexual assault cases and stuff.
Oh, it's horrendous, mate. Absolutely horrendous.
It's just horrendous. I think it's more horrendous that it's taken sort of this long to come out, because some of these things have been going on for years, and it's only because of social media. I think that finally
definitely.
people have like a voice.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah, definitely.
And that's only because they feel like strong enough that there's other people that it's happened to.
Yeah.
That they don't feel like one person saying it.
It's just so horrible.
Because it can go viral on it, and that's it.
Yeah. And
like rightly so, innit? It's not like.
And it's obviously you're always going to believe. Obviously it's I don't know how to put it across. Like it's hard to believe who's right and who's wrong. Yeah. Because of social media.
Yeah.
Because it can be easy. Anyone can write something about someone, and it will obviously not be true.
Yeah, you don't need facts.
And it's spread like wildfire, and then everyone jump on the bandwagon, and then
it's like that Black Mirror episode with the wasps. You ever seen that one?
I think so. Yeah.
When they tweet about people, it's like a hashtag, and they like say like I can't remember what they put, but it's like a hashtag, and anyone like I'm not going to obviously ruin the episode, but that's like based on that. Growing like this mob community. Yeah. And that's a good watch that. But it's kind of dealing with that. Yeah, because I think social media is like built on, but like this era is built.
And I'm not saying that anyone would lie about that certain topic as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that someone's gonna like, because it's quite a touchy subject.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like it's two ways, isn't it? Yeah. But I think
it's a horrible situation to be in.
You just kind of have to believe the victim.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh,
like always.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because like they have like much more to lose. Yeah. Like emotionally and
all day long. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just horrible when I sort of feel like you sort of listen. I think to anyone that happens to, I guess, like for instance, like the bands that it's been happening to, when you've listened to them for so long. Yeah. And you almost gain this respect and this sort of like you look up to or aspire to.
Yeah. And then they're just
those sort of stories come out. It just changes. Like it makes you question so much. You think, geez, that's so. It's horrible, isn't it? Like, I don't know how someone could even fathom doing that. No. And like I said, I think it's definitely a power thing. Yeah. It's definitely getting to a certain level and obviously using the power they've got.
Mm. It's like an ego thing, I think.
It's definitely, definitely. Like imagine like. So you've got to use the power in like a positive way, innit?
Mm. I think to be fair,
that's what annoys me so much, because like a lot of people are at such a certain level where they could do so many good things, but they turn it around and they just do so many bad things and like use it to.
There's a lot of bands do a lot of good.
Like, yeah, of course, yeah.
And spread like a message of like positivity, and they do like a lot of like work with like foundations and charities and stuff. Yeah. Like there's a lot of that. So for every like band and sexual assault like scandal and whatnot, there's another band that's doing something positive and reinforcing that. So it is it's absolutely horrific at the same time.
It's like
but
there's loads and loads.
But there are a lot of bands that do
good reason.
They're trying to do good, And I think that's the thing, especially in metal, because it's such like a community vibe. There's like I think people feel like it's a safe space to sort of like feel emotions and stuff, like whether it is anger or like there are metal bands that are like super emotional. When you listen to their music, you can hear that coming through in their lyrics. Like you can tell they mean something to people. Because they'll have them like tattooed. And it's like saved their life. And it really doesn't. Like from the band's point, they've just written a lyric, and it might mean something completely different. And then, like obviously, as a listener, like to some listeners, that's like that like lyric has taken on such a significant meaning. And they've tattooed, and it's saved their life. And it's like to have that ability to do that. It's just incredible. Yeah, definitely. But like as a band, like you'd obviously, I'm speaking mostly about AVR because that's like I've seen that in person. Yeah, of course. Like people like with tattoos and whatnot. And like as a band, that must be crazy to know that like you just written a lyric to like serve. Oh, that might sound cool, and then to someone else, it's like
it means so much.
It's massive.
Yeah. Oh,
like it's their entire
crazy.
That's saved my life. I've got it tattooed, and that to them, it's just like they fit the song. Yeah, it's like this.
Like there was no maybe there was no thought in it from the beginning, but for someone else, it's like like they've taken so much away from that.
Yeah, and they're screaming it live, and there's people there and then screaming it louder back at them.
Yeah.
Because it is.
But then again, it makes you appreciate that lyric.
Yeah.
Like being from the standpoint of being in the band and.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
You learn from it's like vice versa. I mean, you learn from.
There's a lot of verse recitals from the Bible and ABR's music that people get tattooed on them. Yeah. There's one in Meridian, I know.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's like, I'm the painter, like creating this masterpiece.
Yeah.
I will build you up again.
I will build you up again. Yeah.
You'll be rebuilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people get that tattooed, and like the constellations artwork, like that's like a.
State that like so many people got that.
Yeah, so many people got that.
Yeah, you see why,
Yeah. But that song was when we saw that for, because we both went to that and Ryan. When we saw that, it hit different. That song.
Yeah, that song.
That album is like just chaos, but that song is so like gloomy and like just like this sort of metal weird ballad thing. I don't even know what it is. But it's so unique to that band. But it's just crazy, and the lyrics take so much meaning to some people.
Yeah, nothing comes close to that live DVD that August Burns Red did.
No,
and they perform it then. That is beyond.
Yeah,
just that's another thing as well that I've watched, and just like that just blows me away every time I watch that DVD.
As you can tell, we're big ABR fans.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's so good. I can watch it so many times and just be like, even like when they come onto back burner straight away.
Yeah,
and it's just like I'm straight away just like, this makes me want to play live so much.
Yeah, and that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
that was before like Leveler and that.
Honestly, put me in a room and just play that video, and I'd be happy. Like honestly, like it's so good, so good.
It's you were saying about
it really is.
You're saying about like Warped Tour videos.
Yeah.
That I used to watch. That's how I found like bands and stuff. And I remember, I found Chelsea Grin from Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And they have a video where they play in Recreant. And at that time, that was like one of the heaviest songs I'd heard.
Yeah.
Like, and that's saying
that was like the heaviest song you've heard.
At that time.
Yeah, that's time.
And I watched like the video. They all got like tattoos and stretchers and stuff. Jason Richardson just looked like the scariest guy I'd ever seen in my life. Like buzz cut, like just like giving like evil eyes to the audience and stuff. Like just shredding. Like obviously guitar was tuned like hella low.
Oh, he's such a god.
But I was just like, this is just like disgusting. It's so like there's such like a scary vibe. They're like trying to like headbang their heads off.
Yeah.
I was like, this is wild.
Different world.
But like you hate it, but like there's just something that brings you back to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was like,
totally agree.
Let's get into this. Like you look at like the artwork and it's like this is terrifying. Like when you first get into it, there must be no one on this planet that's gone like, oh, I want to love that. Like you just like it's just like, intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And you, I don't know if there's anyone that's liked it on first like listen.
Yeah.
You just like it's just interesting because it's so different.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree.
But I remember listening to us going like lips at their word logo, and I was like
when you really,
this is scary, man.
Like, when you really, really think about it, like deeply.
Yeah. It's
like,
just
it's screaming.
It's so low that like all the gutturals and stuff.
You think
it's just vile.
But why is it so interesting? Like, why is it so good?
Do you know what the funny thing is?
It's so hard to explain to someone because you don't. I don't know. Like you said before, like you like it. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
It clicks with some people and it doesn't click with other people.
But
it's hard to put across like how you can't just listen to one song and be like, this is sick. It takes time.
Yeah.
It definitely takes just that repetitive listening to more different variations of different metal.
When you're starting
metalcore,
out.
deathcore, like all this sort of different genres. And then it starts to then click and then you start to really sort of get into it. And then
releasing a new song you like.
That's it, yeah. It's not like you listen to like, you can never just listen to like Recreant.
Yeah.
And be like, this is a banger for the first time. Like, this is not going to happen. Like, there's no way.
Agreed.
But what the hell is this?
I remember at one of our photo shoots, Lee always plays like metal from his
shout
little
out,
speaker.
shout out Lee.
Yeah, shout out Lee. My guy.
Bear Visions.
Yeah.
What's his other Instagram?
Oh, Kyrie Focus.
Yeah, that's
or something like that. Kyrie Focus.
Yeah, shout out to
Lee. He we did this photo shoot down in like where was it? Salisbury.
Yeah.
And like we're at this like public park,
yeah.
and like we're just playing like music out loud, and there's like people walking past, and they're playing like goth rules and like just blast beats and stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, imagine if you're this family, like this dad just walking through with like his 2 boys, and he's like, the heaviest thing he's ever heard in his life is like Nickelback, and he just walks past, and it's like just absolute like sounds like death. Like, can you imagine that? Like to go from like the heaviest is Nickelback, like. Like for us, we've obviously progressed.
It's so
point.
interesting, like.
But like, I really listen to. Can you imagine, like, listen to that? You're like, what the hell is?
Sometimes
that?
I really want to sit with people that aren't into it.
Yeah.
And sort of show them what's going on in my mind when I'm listening to this type of music.
Yeah.
And try and at least put it across. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Sort of like,
I think you'd have to go.
But you never can you? Like, you never. Yeah. Oh, a show would be like.
That because then they'd see that.
Yeah.
That part. Yeah, that's like. That serves that purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I think people just think it's like noise, whereas metal is very much like it's structured, and like riffs and like certain sections of songs are meant to serve a purpose live, or just in general. Yeah. So like when you see them live, you're like, like people do like circle pits and obviously like break down everyone like mosh pitting.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that part. Like it's made for that. It's not like just people it's just noise. It's not like that.
Yeah, of course. Like there's we do joke about some bands, and we think that's just pure noise.
Yeah, because it is. Well, there's just there's just no like dynamics.
Of course,
to it.
yeah.
But
which is funny though.
You like what you like in it.
Yeah, it's like you like what you like. That's it. Yeah.
Because there's probably people that think like metalcore is just boring.
Yeah.
Because it all sounds the same.
Because it all sounds the same. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it's just that's music for you, isn't it? It's just people just don't like because we both love stuff that isn't metal.
Yeah,
definitely. I think we're both like. I think
I'd say I'd listen. I listen
to more music that's not metal. I listen
to more music that's not metal than metal.
Yeah,
sure.
Same. We like.
But
I feel like we went through.
Like but we've gone through stages. Obviously, because we've got we're a metal band. Like, I grew up listening to metal. Like that was my main genre of music, and then I just grew up.
But we don't look like we listen to metal.
No.
Like our band doesn't look like a metal band.
No.
Like we don't have like stretchers, and we don't wear like Infinite Annihilator hats and whatnot.
I mean, why should you?
Yeah.
Like, but what's that got to do with like
your
music?
You can you're free to be who you are.
Yeah,
but I think like that it's just an element. Like I can never listen to one genre for like the rest of my life.
Definitely.
I love so many different.
I'm open to
artists
literally anything
and sounds, and you hear that in metal. You hear that other artists listen to stuff. And they come out and they sound different to everyone else because they've drawn influence from something that's not metal.
That is it. Yeah.
But if all you listen to is metal,
then you're only going to draw off what you're listening to.
Yeah.
You have to expand.
Exactly.
For sure.
Like, I want to do that. That sounds.
Otherwise, you're not going to grow. Yeah. Unless that's what you like. If you like listening to metal and that's it, and you're in a metal band and you write just metal, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to bring something new to the table, I feel like you've got to reach out of that genre. Yeah. For sure.
Must get bored.
And take elements from someone. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, surely. Because it's like...
I don't know, if everyone's different.
I feel like I have to be in
some people do
mood.
just like listening to one band and being like, I really want to sound like that band, and then just being that, bringing elements of all different bands, and then, people just like do that, don't they?
I think I have to be in a certain mood to listen to metal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, I have like music for different moods.
Oh, all day
but
long,
I don't like get in the car and I'm like metal. Like it's just very much like I want my feeling like.
Not my feeling. It's always on what I'm feeling like.
Yeah,
always.
Like if you, there's no like emotion that it's connected to. That I'm not like angry. I'll listen to metal. It's just like, it's just a vibe.
And this whole stigma of like listening to metal when you're like
annoyed or whatnot.
sad or like nothing to do with anything. It's just like, if anything, when I'm my most happiest is when I would be listening. Yeah. Because it's just hype, isn't it? Yeah, it's just hype. It was just hype to me.
Me and my mate used to drive up to London for venues.
Yeah.
And like our playlist would just be like all metal because it just like hypes you up. Hypes you up. Yeah. Like you're gassed. Whereas like if you listen to like Ed Sheeran on the way to a metal, you'd like get to the show and you wouldn't be like psyched. But like if you listen to the band and whatnot, and it's like just hyped you up. Like I can't wait to see that. Like I think that's it's like exciting when I smell. I'm like excited, like gassed. Like
yeah, definitely.